Hi there, this is Craig, head instructor at Ottawa Swordplay, and today I'm going to show you a little solo footwork drill that I like to do. And the main purpose of this drill is to get good at understanding where you are when you are moving your feet. It is easy to fool yourself when you are moving backwards and forwards because by nature we tend to take different sizes of steps forwards and backwards, and sometimes we take different sizes of steps depending upon what foot we have. The more consistent we can be with our steps, the better we are at understanding what those steps are. Now, I'm going to be demonstrating this with passing steps. This exercise can be done with any kind of steps that have a backward and forward version. All right, so the first thing that I want to do is mark my starting position. So I've just put my sword on the floor, and hopefully you can see that in the video. And I'm going to start standing in a right foot forward stance, just randomly chose right foot forward, with my back foot in line with the sword tip. And so all I'm going to do is I'm going to do my passing steps, and I'm going to try and focus on doing them properly. And I'm going to start by doing 3 steps backwards. So I'm going to rotate my hips, pass, 2, 3. And now I'm going to take 6 steps forward. Rotate my hips, pass, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So at this point, I'm going to take 3 more steps backwards, which will bring me to a total of 6 steps backwards and 6 steps forwards. Rotate, pass, 2, 3. And now I look, and the point of my sword is more or less in line with my foot. I probably am off by about 2 inches from where I started. And I'm actually a little bit more back, which means my steps back were bigger than my steps forward, which is pretty unusual, so I was probably overcompensating for my expectations. So now I know I can correct that. Now, whenever you try and correct, it is best to figure out which steps were bigger and try and make them smaller to start with. In doing that, it's easier to get your steps consistent, and then you can get used to taking bigger steps while doing that. Now, if I'm really good at this and I can do 3 steps back, 6 steps forward, 3 steps back, and land spot on fairly consistently, say 8 out of 10 times, then what I can do is I can make it more challenging. And I can do that in 2 ways. The first way is that I can make my steps be faster, which then makes it harder to be precise in my steps. Or I can change to 4 steps backwards, 8 steps forward, 4 steps backward. And that will magnify any errors I'm making. One more note. I always start with taking the steps backwards. If you start going forward and then take double the number backwards, as you're going forward, you can see your mark on the floor, and even if you don't want to, it's too easy to cheat. So we want to finish going backwards so we can't see where we're ending up. As I said, this can be done with any kind of steps. I actually initially learned this with linear fencing steps. Oh, and I'm terrible at that now. Anyway, it's a really useful thing. All you need is a floor and something to mark. It doesn't even need to be a sword. Anything to put on the floor to mark your starting spot. I hope that's a useful exercise for you, and see you next time.